This is the Starlight Express Alumni Podcast.
Hi everyone, I'm Tracey Heyworth and I'm a Starlight Express alumni. My Starlight journey started way back in 1985 when I was still at school and I saw the show at the Apollo Victoria in London and absolutely fell in love with it, particularly the role of Dinah, and all I wanted to do from that moment was play Dinah in Starlight Express. I went to performing arts school in London when I was 16, so 2 years later. And 2 years after that, I worked front of house at the Apollo Victoria Theatre, where Starlight Express was still playing at the time. And a year after that, I auditioned for Starlight Express in Germany and was called back on the same day by a lot of the people that I used to serve in the bar.
Wow.
During intermission of the show, because the resident director, the musical director, Phil Edwards, Dion, I've forgotten Dion's last name. That's all. Dion
McHugh.
McHugh, that's it, of course. And they called me back that day to sing again. And then that evening, as I was walking down the stairs in my little usherette's uniform, Dion came up to me, put his arm around me and said, well, you better start packing. So I got the gig. Wow. And I was originally just a carriage cover. So I was there to do Pearl, Dinah, Buffy and Ashley. And it took me a really long time to learn how to skate.
Well, you know what? Thank you so much for coming on and sharing that. And I love the stories of the beginnings and how people found out about Starlight, and then they're finding out about the audition and then going through the audition process. So share a little bit more about the audition. What did you do at the audition?
So they were only looking for one girl. I had to skate round and round in a circle and then skate round and round in a circle in the opposite direction. We did some of girls' rolling stock on skates, which was much harder because they don't audition the kids on skates now.
Right.
They audition them as dancers, and then Michael decides whether or not, Michael Fraley, skate coach extraordinaire, decides whether or not they're going to be able to skate just by looking at the way they move their bodies. I didn't fall. I wasn't a great skater, but I could go round in a circle clockwise and counterclockwise. And most of the choreography for girls rolling stock was on toe stops. So it was okay. And then I sang, I believe I sang One Night Only from Dreamgirls as an up-tempo. And Now That I've Seen Her from Miss Saigon. While I was there, someone who'd clearly been in Starlight Express previously came into the audition because she had the silver boots, silver roller boots, and all the panel knew her and they all gave her hugs. And I just thought, oh, well, that's it. She's done it. They're going to give it to her. And they didn't. They gave it to me. I also met one of my lifelong friends that I made at Starlight Express at that audition, a guy called, now known as Ian Cross, but then known as Stuart Cross. I saw him outside and I said to him, I know you from somewhere. And he assumed that I had bumped into him at other auditions, or maybe we trained together, that kind of thing. And I said to him, as soon as he opened his mouth, I said, no, I know where I know you from. I saw you in Oswald Town Hall in Blackburn, Lancashire, playing a character in an amateur dramatic version of Kiss Me Kate. And you sang It's Too Darn Hot. And he was just totally freaked out and thought, who is this crazy woman? And he got the gig too, and we were on the plane going over together, which was great.
Cool. That was cool.
I just had lunch with him last month.
Very cool. I love it.
We're still friends like 30 odd years later.
That's awesome. That's great. I love it. Now you got the show. You were the one they chose. You went over. So what was the rehearsal process for you like? Well, share a little bit of that experience.
Excruciating. I found the skating really hard. I had 3 different skate coaches, and I don't know if the other 2 quit because me and Simon Bishop were so terrible at skating. One of them was, of course, the wonderful Glenn Neat, who's no longer with us, but he also became a very good friend. I remember right in the very beginning, we used to have to start at 10 a.m. with skates on, lying on the floor in the ballet room, doing the strengthening exercises. And then after a couple of weeks, the coach, Jean it was at the time, decided that we could come in half an hour earlier and do the exercises ourselves. And I was then a terrible night owl, and I just was not good during the day. And this is really bad. I remember getting to the ballet room at 9:30 and lying down. And then when Jean came in going 31, 32, 33, and then when she went, I just go again, which was really bad. But anyway, after it felt like an eternity, Michael Fraley turned up. And for some reason with him and the skating, I clicked. And I got it. And eventually I joined in September, and I didn't get on stage until I think it was February.
Oh, wow.
So it was a long haul. And I went on for Ashley. And after that first show, which was absolutely terrifying, there is nothing. I think it's the scariest thing that's ever happened to me in my life. I was 19 years old. I was standing at the top of the
with the seesaw,
the 3rd level, back of the train, hearing the woo 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 kind of besser als die Dampflok. And I was so nervous, and my legs were shaking, and all my skate coaching went out the window, and I just hung on for dear life. Ivy was in front of me as Buffy, and it must have been a nightmare for her, because I think I was just pulling the hell out of her belt because I just could not get my legs to work. I was so nervous. But I was never that nervous again. And actually, after doing that one first show, I just started to relax, and I started to feel really comfortable on my skates and comfortable with different engines. And it actually, I don't think it was that long after that I finally got my dream and went on as Dinah.
Yeah. Now, was I there when you first? Was I in the show at that time when you first? I came after.
Came back in, I think, 91, was it?
Yeah. When they redid the show to I guess to do like this on a U.S. tour. We came back to.
Oh, so 92.
Yes.
92.
We changed it for so that it was like the U.S. tour.
Yeah, and I remember going absolutely crazy with that because I was doing the show as I actually became first cast Dinah in September, a year after I joined. They gave me Dinah, and I was doing the show at night, and we were doing Freight, and it was right, left, and then in the new show it was left, right. I was like, really? It has to be that, honestly. Yeah. We can't just keep doing right, left because that's how you did it on the US tour. That kind of became a bit of a joke with us, with the sort of when I was on the tour.
That's too funny.
We were bitter.
That was too funny. So, what's your great? Well, I'm sure you have a lot of memories And but I'm going to challenge you, like I challenge all the other alumni. What's your greatest memory that comes to mind right now? Your greatest memory from Starlight?
The first time I went on as Dinah.
What was that like?
Because it was just a dream.
Mm.
And I wasn't nervous anymore because I was really comfortable with the skating. So it wasn't like when I first went on as Ashley, I couldn't really enjoy it. I was too scared to enjoy it. I'd already been there a year. I was good friends with lots of people and they were all really supportive. And the cast members who weren't on were watching me in the audience and cheering me on. And it was just amazing. It was absolutely amazing to have gone from, you know, being a 13, 14-year-old girl, just looking up at Beverly Kay, I think it was, in London, doing the show. And then to be actually doing it myself was just amazing.
I could only imagine. What's funny now is that many of the parents, when we were doing the show, were kids watching the show.
Right.
And then they grew up watching with the hope, and some of them might have got a chance to do the show.
Yeah.
And then now many of their kids are now doing the show.
Terrifying. What about Lauren?
Yes.
His daughter.
Yes.
30 years old yesterday.
I know. I saw that. Incredible.
Oh my God, that's so scary. But having said that, when I was there and I was still in my early 20s, when Coffee, Missa and Drew Williams joined, I took so much delight in saying to them, I can't believe I'm doing the show with you. I was still at school when I saw you playing Greaseball and Rusty.
Now it's the younger people's turn.
Yeah, right. And now that's happening to us.
That's awesome. That's great. Great.
Yeah.
Now, I know Starlight, I know for me and all the alumni that I've spoken to, and I've spoken to, you're probably, I think about my 20th interview now. And all of them drew life lessons from their experience with Starlight. And so, and they were just, I love they shared it. So what's some of the life lessons that you drew from your experience with Starlight Express?
That the people you meet when you're doing a show like that are the best friends you'll ever have, and they're not just friends, they're family. And that was totally proven to me when I went back for the 25th anniversary reunion and the 30th anniversary reunion. And I saw people there that I hadn't seen or spoken to for years. And it was just like I saw them yesterday. It was like you just pick up where you left off, you know, and it doesn't matter how many years there are in between. Those guys will always be family because no one else knows what it's like. It's not just the intensity of the show, because it's an incredibly intense show. And, you know, doing it in the West End or on Broadway, whatever, it's all very intense. But it's the fact that you're in another country, you're away from your normal life, pretty young, most of us. I was 19 when I first went over there. You're learning another language. You're learning another whole skill on top of the singing, dancing and acting with the skating. It's such an intense experience that it just draws you together with those people. And they're some of the best, funniest, most loyal, wonderful people I've ever met in my life. And I love all of them, even the ones I hate.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. And now we're where we are now in our lives, we look back and we now get it. We get this idea of being humans and, you know, not perfect, but yet we have this bond. And that was something all of us agree with, that just the magnitude, the intensity of this show. It's so unlike, because I've done several shows, you've done several shows, and many of the alumni, they've all done several shows, and we all agreed, and you let me know whether you agree with this as well, that was something different about Starlight because it's the physical demand of it, the emotional demand, the psychological demand of all these hurdles, obstacles that we had to overcome, you know, with the skates, the singing, the stunts, the racing, the stage.
Yeah.
You know, everything, and
All
it's
of
so
it.
different. So I know I've done, the West Sides, I've done all kinds of shows, movies, I've done stunt work, and from my experience, Starlight Express is the highest, most challenging show for me, and I got a lot of my lessons about ethics, work ethics and hard work,
Yeah.
and answering that question, whether how bad do I want to do this?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, totally. I couldn't agree more with that. And the fact that it took me twice as long as anyone else to learn how to skate, and that after 3 months, they could have chucked me or I could have chucked it and said, no, I'm never going to learn this. And I didn't. I was determined, absolutely determined to do it.
Yeah, it's funny because I teach, I teach martial arts full time. It's one of the things that I do, and I have over 300 students, and we're always talking about having this warrior mindset, this fighter mindset. And everyone that's done a show, done Starlight Express, has that. To get on that stage and to overcome whatever needed to be overcome to get on that stage, you have to be a fighter. You have to be a warrior.
Absolutely.
I know who was, I think Reva said that. She said, after I asked her, okay, what was it like when you opened for the first time? She said, well, I did Starlight, right? And then when the lights went down, I was like, I did it. I survived.
Yeah. And that's how you feel. I mean, after your first, it's always tiring. It's an exhausting show.
Yeah.
But after your first show, you kind of just want to fall on the floor in a big heap, because it's the adrenaline and the energy that you've expended doing the show, and the relief that you got through it and you didn't break your own neck or anyone else's neck.
Yeah.
Or, because I don't think I ever really thought about how dangerous it was.
Yeah.
As much as I do now. Your fear increases as you get older, I think.
Yeah.
And 26 miles an hour.
Yeah.
We could get up to coming down from the top level.
Right.
That's insane.
Right. And some went a little fast, almost 30. And, I know during the show, I took a lot of what we did for granted until someone did end up, because many of us got injured.
Yeah.
You just do whatever, and all of a sudden there goes a sprained ankle or a twisted elbow or a broken arm, a broken leg.
Yeah.
Or sometimes worse from some of the Starlighters.
Yeah,
At that moment you realize, oh my gosh, this is dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely. That was one of the worst experiences, was seeing Ricky Mojica.
Yes.
When he was Espresso, and he did his entrance.
Yes.
And he did the tour, and he landed, and his skates just went out from under him.
I was right there. I remember I was there as well. I saw him do that, and him crawling off that stage is such it's burnt in my memory.
Elizabeth Holland was on for Ashley, and I was on for Dinah, and we just went and kind of, once he'd gotten away from the main deck, because we had to be careful as well, because there were engines coming down and whatnot, and we helped to drag him off, and he passed out.
Yes.
From the pain.
Yeah.
I believe he pulled the muscle away
he tore his hamstring.
Ugh.
Yeah. And that's the second time I saw him get a major injury. When we were doing the US tour, I saw him fall, hit the rail, his elbow dislocated.
Ugh.
And I was right there, and I saw the whole thing. And so those are the moments that it really sobers you up and says, whoa, I better watch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he was such a fearless skater, though, right? I mean, he's an incredible skater anyway.
Yeah, he's fearless. He's just fearless in general. I mean, I stay connected with him, the stuff that he's continued to do with his life, which brings us to one of the questions I want to ask you is, what are your passions these days? What are you doing? How are you taking this knowledge and wisdom that you've? Of course, you're still young, because
I'm 48.
Oh gosh, you are young. I'm looking at 60 years old, and
no.
And so, but you've got plenty of years ahead of you. But anyway, you've lived enough of a life to appreciate life, to appreciate the ups and downs, the ebbs and flows of life. And so now you know that time is valuable. And so how are you spending your time? What do you have as a passion now? Share with others if you don't mind.
No, of course not. So I actually do have a great job for me. I'm a civil servant for the UK government. It hasn't always been a great job. I've been doing it for 19 years and it took me 15 years to find a job that I really liked. But I work for the Department for Digital Culture, Media and Sport in the Creative Industries team, and I work on music policy for the government, so music industry policy. So in a nutshell, the simplest way to describe my job is to work with the music industry, identify barriers to economic growth, and try and remove those barriers to economic growth.
Well, we entertainers love you. We performers love you.
They and also my contacts in the music industry like me because they know that I come from a background of performing arts school, theatre, being in bands. I've done the toilet gig circuit. I've done the small rehearsal rooms, the small recording studios. So they know I get them. And I feel really lucky because actually going to gigs and seeing bands is my passion. So I'm helping, hopefully, the next generation, trying to rescue the gigs, make sure that the venues stay open, that the recording studios stay open, that people get treated fairly with their recording, all of that stuff, just trying to make sure the music ecosystem stays alive and feeds itself and sustains itself with a little help from us.
I love it.
My other passion, which people who knew me in Starlight will find really weird, is that about 22 years ago, I got taken to my very first soccer, as you call it, football, because, it's played with the feet.
Hello.
Football match. And I'm now a season ticket holder at Arsenal FC, which is a North London football club. And I'm there every week, pretty much. That's my other passion.
You're probably going to get a lot of loving for that.
Maybe. Depends who the other people support. And then the other thing that I really, really love and that keeps me creative is cooking. I'm a vegan now. I've been vegetarian for 22 years. I took the final logical step and went vegan last year. And it's really helped me to be much more creative with the way I cook. So, yeah.
I love it. Cool.
I've sung for a while.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. Now, if someone wanted to get a hold of you, how can they get a hold of you? Now, I'll just talk to those of you that are watching and listening. Right below on this page here, there's going to be pictures and video links for Tracey. And so if you want to connect with her, you can connect with her through this page. Just comment below, and we can definitely send your message to Tracey. But Tracey, if you have a website or someplace you want people to go to find out more about you, we can definitely share that here as well. And
I don't have my own website, but I'm on Twitter.
Okay.
And I'm on Facebook.
Perfect.
You're going to ask me my Twitter handle, aren't you?
No. I can find all that. Don't worry about it. I can find all that. I'll find it. If you're on Twitter, I'll be able to find you. So everyone, it'll be right below. But I really do appreciate you sharing on this podcast. This project has turned into like a beast of a project, and I'm loving it. I'm learning a lot, and it's all these great stories. It's just so fascinating, entertaining. And today, Renee was listening to today's podcast, and she was just chuckling, and of the stories. So we're loving it. I'm getting a lot of great feedback and support. It's just pretty awesome. So
how can we see what everyone else has done?
Right. So what I do is you could go to starlightexpress.club.
Okay.
and everyone's there. So you can go there right now if you want, and you can see whose podcast. It goes up every Sunday,
Okay.
a new podcast, and I'll do one every Sunday. And my goal is to connect with at least 100 alumni. And
Amazing.
so, as of our interview, I'm about a quarter of a way there.
Amazing.
And I'm very excited about this. And it's for me, it's for many of us, it's almost like a healing for us that I've noticed. And just sharing and reminiscing and laughing, and there's been some tears as well.
Sure.
So it's just been phenomenal. And
do you have the dream? Do you ever have the Starlight dream?
well, now that I'm doing this, the last several nights, because I'm interviewing all you guys, and I'm waking up with the dreams of reliving meeting with you guys and working with you guys, some great dreams. And so as recent as last night, that's what I've noticed from me, because the memories and the stories and those that are still here, what you guys are doing, and then the friendship, the bond that we have, and then of course remembering those that have passed on, and those memories and the beautiful memories. And I'm loving this place where I am in my life, and that we're healthy enough where we can communicate. The technology is there. It's like I could just reach and then touch you, right?
I know. It's cool. Amazing.
It's amazing. So thank you so much for connecting. Now, before we sign off and wrap this up, I want you to give the last word to everyone. What would you like to say to everyone that are alumni, and yes, the fans of Starlight are watching, they're loving this. So what would you like to say to everyone in Starlight Express world?
Just thanks for the support. I mean, it's amazing that it's still going and that people are still interested. Yeah, so just thanks. But also I want to say, Martin, Glenn, Wilton, love you guys, miss you guys.
Well, thank you, Tracey, so much for taking this time, and thank your mom. Your mom's still there? Is your mom still there?
She's gone outside.
All right. Well, thank you so much for giving you a moment so you can chat with us. You have a great day. Enjoy your day.
Thank you.
And I will send you a link to the podcast, and then I'll send you a link to when yours goes up. And so I'm scheduling everyone's out. So everyone, I'll create a schedule so everyone can see when theirs come. This way you can go ahead and share it with your friends and, or your loved ones there in your neck of the woods.
I have a Starlight Express fangirl at work.
She'll love it.
Absolutely crazy about it. So I can't wait to show it to her.
Right. And I'll talk to you. I'll definitely stay in touch with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll stay in touch. And again, Renee, we follow each other. We see what you do. We see things you're doing. So keep it up and keep doing what you're doing. Love you and have a great day.
I love you too. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining me on this episode of Starlight Express Alumni Podcast. Next week, I will get together with another alumni. Be sure to subscribe. You can subscribe right here on the website at starlightexpress.club. We are definitely on the iTunes and Stitcher, and we're looking to get on the other platforms, so make sure you check there, subscribe there, and stay connected. If you are a Starlight alumni, please be sure to reach out to me if you would like to be on the podcast. Would love to hear your stories and share your story with the Starlight Express fans and other alumni. Look forward to sharing with you next week. Everyone, have a great day.